In the bleak midwinter, frosty wind made moan. Earth stood hard as iron, water like a stone. Snow had fallen, snow on snow, snow on snow. In the bleak midwinter long ago. Our God, heaven cannot hold him, nor earth sustain. Heaven and earth shall flee away when he comes to reign. In the bleak midwinter, a stable place sufficed the Lord God Almighty, Jesus Christ. Enough for him whom cherubim worship night and day, a breast full of milk and a manger full of hay. Enough for him whom angels fall before, the ox and ass and camel which adore. Angels and archangels may have gathered there, cherubim and seraphim thronged in the air, but his mother only, in her maiden bliss, worshipped the beloved with a kiss. What can I give him, poor as I am? If I were a shepherd, I would give a lamb. If I were a wise man, I would do my part. Yet what I can, I give him. Give my heart. The winter comes, I walk alone. I want no bird to sing. To those who keep their hearts their own, the winter is the spring. No flowers to please, no bees to hum. The coming spring's already come. I never want the Christmas rose to come before its time. The seasons as God bestows are simple and sublime. I love to see the snowstorm hing. 'Tis but the winter garb of spring. I never want the grass to bloom, the snowstorm's best in white. I love to see the tempest come and love its piercing light, the dazzled eyes that love to cling o'er snow-white meadows seize the spring. I love the snow, the crumpling snow that hangs on everything. It covers everything below like white dove's brooding wing. A landscape, to the aching sight, a vast expanse of dazzling light. It is the foliage of the woods that winter brings, the dress, white Easter of the year in bud, that makes the winter spring. The frost and snow his posies bring, nature's white spurts of the spring. When icicles hang by the wall, and Dick the shepherd blows his nail, and Tom bears logs into the hall, and milk comes frozen home in pail. When blood is nipped, and ways be foul, then nightly sings the staring owl. To-woo, to-wit, to-woo, a merry note, while greasy Joan doth keel the pot. When all around the wind doth blow, and coffin drowns the parson's saw, and birds sit brooding in the snow, and Marion's nose looks red and raw. When roasted crabs hiss in the bowl, then nightly sings the staring owl. To-woo, to-wit, to-woo, a merry note, while greasy Joan doth keel the pot. It was Christmas Eve, and although still afternoon, lights had begun to appear in the shops and houses of the little Russian village, for the short winter day was nearly over. Excited children scurried indoors, and now only muffled sounds of chatter and laughter escaped from closed shutters. Old Papa Panov, the village shoemaker, stepped outside his shop to take one last look around. The sounds of happiness, the bright lights, and the faint but delicious smells of Christmas cooking reminded him of past Christmas times, when his wife had still been alive and his own children little. Now they had gone. His usually cheerful face, with little laughter wrinkles behind the round steel spectacles, looked sad now. But he went back indoors with a firm step, put up the shutters, and set a pot of coffee to heat on the charcoal stove. Then, with a sigh, he settled in his big armchair. Papa Panov did not often read, but tonight he pulled down the big old family Bible and, slowly tracing the lines with one forefinger, he read again the Christmas story. He read how Mary and Joseph, tired by their journey to Bethlehem, found no room for them at the inn, so that Mary's little baby was born in a cowshed. Oh dear, exclaimed Papa Panov. If only they'd come here. I would have given them my bed, and I could have covered the baby with my patchwork quilt to keep him warm. He read about the wise men who had come to see baby Jesus, bringing him splendid gifts. Papa Panov's face fell. I've no gift that I could give him, he thought sadly. Then his face brightened. He put down the Bible, got up, stretched his long arms to the shelf high up in his little room, and took down a dusty box and opened it. Inside was a perfect pair of tiny leather shoes. Papa Panov smiled with satisfaction. Yes, they were as good as he had remembered, the best shoes he had ever made. I should give him those, he decided as he gently put them away and sat down. He was feeling tired now, and the further he read, the sleepier he became. The print began to dance before his eyes, so he closed them, just for a minute. In no time at all, Papa Panov was fast asleep. And as he slept, he dreamed. He dreamed that someone was in his room, and he knew at once, as one does in dreams, who the person was. It was Jesus. You've been wishing you could see me, Papa Panov, he said kindly. Then look for me tomorrow. It will be Christmas Day, and I will visit you. But look carefully, for I shall not tell you who I am. When at last Papa Panov awoke, the bells were ringing and a thin light filtering through the shutters. Bless my soul, said Papa Panov. It's Christmas Day. He stood up and stretched himself, for he was rather stiff. Then his face filled with happiness as he remembered his dream. This would be a very special Christmas after all, for Jesus was coming to visit him. How would he look? Would he be a little baby as at the first Christmas? Would he be a grown man, a carpenter? Or the great king that he is, God's son? He must watch carefully the whole day through so he recognized him however he came. Papa Panov put on a special pot of coffee for his Christmas breakfast, took down the shutters and looked out of the window. The street was deserted. No one was stirring yet. No one except the road sweeper. He looked as miserable and dirty as ever, and well he might. Whoever wanted to work on Christmas Day, and in the cold, raw, bitter, freezing mist of such a morning? Papa Panov opened the shop door, letting in a thin stream of cold air. "Come in," he shouted across the street cheerily. "Come in and have some hot coffee to keep out the cold." The sweeper looked up, scarcely able to believe his ears. He was only too glad to put down the broom and come into the warm room. His hands, clothes, steamed gently in the heat of the stove, and he clasped both red hands round the comforting warm mug as he drank. Papa Panov watched him with satisfaction, but every now and then his eyes strayed to the window. It would never do to miss his special visitor. "Expecting someone?" the sweeper asked at last. So Papa Panov told him about his dream. "Well, I hope he comes," the sweeper said. "You've given me a bit of Christmas cheer I never expected to have. I'd say you deserve your dream to come true." And he actually smiled. When he'd gone, Papa Panov put on cabbage soup for his dinner and then went to the door again, scanning the street. He saw no one, but he was mistaken. Someone was coming. The girl walked so slowly and quietly, hugging the walls of shops and houses, that it was a while before he noticed her. She looked very tired, and she was carrying something. As she drew nearer, he could see that it was a baby wrapped in a thin shawl. There was such sadness in her face and in the pinched little face of the baby that Papa Panov's heart went out to them. "Won't you come in?" he called, stepping outside to meet them. "You both need a warm by the fire and a rest." The young mother let him shepherd her indoors and to the comfort of the armchair. She gave a big sigh of relief. "I'll warm some milk for the baby," Papa Panov said. "I've had children of my own. I can feed her for you." He took the milk from the stove and carefully fed the baby from a spoon, warming her tiny feet by the stove at the same time. "She needs shoes," the cobbler said. But the girl replied, "I can't afford shoes. I've got no husband to bring home money. I'm on my way to the next village to get work." A sudden thought flashed through Papa Panov's mind. He remembered the little shoes he had looked at last night. But he'd been keeping these for Jesus. He looked again at the cold little feet and made up his mind.